from Fire Lake Bowling Center in Shawnee, Oklahoma. The PBA Oklahoma Open continues with round 3 qualifying. It's Cashier's round in Shawnee. Jeff Goodger with Phil Brylow. And Phil, it's Cashier's round.
And it's going to be a pretty interesting Cashier's round. 24 players in right now. Obviously, guys like Jesper, Svensson, Jason, Belmonte, Jakob, Butturff, they're going to advance the match play a little later on today. The interesting part of the field is 16th to 24th. Those are the 8 players fighting to stay alive. They need to get in the 16th and above to advance it tonight. They're only 30 pins apart right now between those spots. So lots of players bidding to get to match play tonight, and they get a fresh application of this Mark Roth pattern. It's going to be a big fight, no doubt about it, and every pin's going to matter at this point in time. One missed spare can mean the difference between a guy staying here and a guy heading back home.
And 3/4 of the field already home. There are a few stragglers who made doubles finals who are still in the building but aren't bowling here. But 7 games of qualifying remaining for these 24 players. And we'll find out right now as Pete McCordick sends them to the lanes who those 16 will be.
Packy Hanrahan, Patrick Girard, Michael Tang. Hanrahan, big 268 final game last night to sneak into the top 24. Patrick Girard .259 in game 6. Got him into 25th position, and then with Ryan Simonelli backing out, bad last game for Simonelli. Girard's 211 snuck him into the cut. Michael Tang, big struggles to hold on and stay inside the cut line at the end of B squad yesterday. His Tang finished 192, 193, 151 after coming out of the gates on fire. 278, 237, 269, 269, and then found the land of confusion his last 3 pairs, but just snuck in to the top 24. Here are 3 players. They're sitting in 9th, 10th, and 11th. Prather, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Jones, Wilkins, Miller. Miller in 12th. He's got a 52-pin cushion over his Rotholman doubles teammate, Kyle Sherman, for the 16th spot. However, with 7 games of qualifying this morning, we know how quickly any type of advantage can quickly disappear with a bad game by a player and a quality score by another.
Especially when they're as close as you mentioned, Phil, with just 30 pins amid those spots trying to get into this thing to bowl tonight. Match play round 1 tonight, round 2 tomorrow. That's when we'll determine our stepladder finalists.
6 pairs of coverage here this morning from Fire Lake Bowling Center. Lanes 9 and 10, 11 and 12, along with 15, 16, 17, 18, and 21 and 22, 23 and 24. Don't worry about 13 and 14 or 19 and 20. Those are pairs currently out of play during the Cashier's round and match play portion of this Oklahoma Open. So you can be able to catch your favorite player most games outside of the flow zone, of course, my favorite thing to do when I'm not in the booth, and even sometimes I'm in the booth, use the 2 live streams feature. You can select that on the bottom of your FloBowling browser on the bottom left. Click on the little camera icon, select the option for 2 live streams. Keep us on here in the flow zone for the latest information. Let you know when players are chasing 300. Special guests on occasion, and you can follow your favorite player on any of the 6 pairs in play. On the right side of that 2 live stream browser. Let's give you a rundown of your top 10 to this point in the tournament through 14 games of qualifying. Jesper Svensson, 101 pin advantage over Jakob Butturff. Svensson first plus 729, Butturff second plus 628. Jason Belmonte third plus 581, Anthony Lavery-Spahr plus 578 in fourth. Don Barrett in fifth plus 575. Tom Daugherty, Nicholas Pate, Sean Rash, Chris Prather, Tommy Jones round out your top 10. And Jeff, we saw it all week long during game 1 of the qualifying rounds. Multiple players, by the time we get to the 7th, 8th frame, have a possibility of chasing 300, and that does not seem to be any different with the starting pace here this morning on this Mark Roth pattern.
Now game 1 has been quick because there have been a lot of strikes. And even just on this pair right now, we have 2 front 3s. Zach Wilkins on the front 3. Same pairs in play right now that will be in play during match play tonight and tomorrow morning.
Nick Pate, you see laughing on his way back there, and everybody kind of ribbing him already. He's got the front 4. Started qualifying round 1 with a 300, qualifying round 2 with a 300. I wouldn't think they would add any extra pressure on Pate this morning to throw another 300 to start 3. That would have to be some kind of PBA Tour record, starting 3 consecutive rounds with a perfect game. Darren Tang has a chance at that as well. Is Tang?
No, he doesn't.
He's on 15 and 16. Well, that just ended in the fourth frame for Tang.
Yep, front 3 split open.
It's got to be tough going out there for these players, knowing that most likely if they don't shoot 250 the opening game, they're going to lose ground to the rest of the field. The way history's been all week long. And especially for those players in those spots 17 and below, as closely as they're packed together. Every pin extra precious at this point in time.
Rash 4 out of the first 5. Prather on a string. Pate front 5. Brad Miller looking for 2 in a row. Zach Wilkins front 5.
Anthony Lavery-Spahr down on 5 and 6 out of the flow zone coverage on the front 6.
Anthony Lavery-Spahr 4th overall. His partner Sam Cooley missing this cut.
Yeah, there's some players that you look back and you go, one missed single pin, one chopped spare, and they replaced Patrick Girard in the top 24, or Michael Tang. Greg Ostrander missed by 4. Simonelli missed by 8. A.J. Johnson, Andrew Anderson missed by 10. So not a good start to 2019 for our reigning player of the year with back-to-back missed cuts, and that is going to damage his
back-to-back-to-back
U.S. Open as well, if we count that. I don't think he was in play.
No, he cashed there. Yeah, he didn't make match play.
He made match play.
He missed last week Hall of Fame Classic. He missed this week twice.
Oh, yes.
Sorry for warping your mind. That's
well, I
what
wasn't
meant.
looking forward to the Roth-Holman doubles yet, and I had totally pushed that off until tomorrow's coverage. I was fully focused on the, or solely focused on, fully focused? Okay. It's definitely cashers around here, Shawnee. My English at the moment. Solely focused on today's cashers round and match play.
Well, I think your mind's right to push that off to match play, which will also be pushed off by a wild animal like a fox coming in and pushing us around, and make sure we have that covered.
Yeah. Those foxes can be ornery sometimes if they're not allowed their space.
Which may
They're very
be
territorial.
Way more space than they need. And now that Rash is balked, that's probably the end of that conversation. Back to Brad Miller.
Yeah, you see Rash there wiggling the thumb hole and a tad tight. Bring it, Curtis. Bring it back in case somebody on the group wants one. Lavery-Spahr still perfect through 7. Not so as he leaves a 10-pin in the 8th frame. There's only one player in the building pursuing perfection. Pate, that player. Patiently pursuing the other players to leave the lanes.
Perfect, Phil.
Oh, and the score sheet gets its first flaw on the ring 10. That was Quasimodo from the Hunchback of Notre Dame throwing that ball. That would have been a bell-ringing 10. No problem with the 10 pin for Pate on that toss. Once again, high scores abounding here in game one for most players. A player like Zach Wilkins still looking at a possible 254. Brad Miller, you hate to say it, but he's only got a double and clean through 7 frames. He's looking at a possible 237. He's looking at losing some pins out to other players in the field with a quality game. With the scoring pace this week here on the 42-foot Mark Roth pattern and the way these players are able to attack it. Miller working on the Cornish hen. Already looking to extend it out to 4 spares in a row, and spares are not going to get you in contention in this event. Spares are necessary evil if you leave them, but strings of strikes are necessary to keep up the pace of play with the rest of the field. And Pate looking at another 279 to open this event. It's going to bring down Nick Pate's first game average this week by a good deal.
Yeah, what, 293?
Yeah, 897 is going to drop into that 293 average for game one. Or 279, I'm sorry, we'll drop. Sean Rash only a single blemish on the scorecard. And with that first strike in the 10th, possible 279. You know, if the greatest two-sport athlete of all time, Vincent Jackson, would have left that 10 pin, it would be a bull ring 10.
My only qualm is your choice of the greatest two-sport athlete of all time.
Oh, really?
Well, it's obviously Walter Ray.
It's true. Bo Jackson never had the term world champion attached to his name in either sport, and that's going to really damage Wilkins' scoreboard right there with the miss in the 9th frame.
Walter Ray is in the pantheon of two sports.
Well, as we were driving here between Arlington and Shawnee, we passed what I originally thought was the Horseshoe Hall of Fame. It comes out it's not the actual playing of horseshoes, it's the actual manufacture and attachment of those shoes to horses.
It's where they lay the horse upside down, and Walter Ray pitches shoes, landing them perfectly on the feet.
And then his assistant takes nails and tacks them into the hooves of the horse on its back. It's an amazing operation. The one championship, though, Walter was always good with the accuracy championship and speed championship, though. He never picked the right partner to get those horseshoes into the hooves quick enough. Never took down that doubles title. Always took down the singles title for accuracy. Never took the speed title down. always got slowed down by his actual shoer.
With that, game 2 of Cashers round coming up next.
25 years ago this week on the PBA Tour. Pardon me, 35 years ago this week on the PBA Tour. Mel South Shore Boral, Alameda, California was the site of the AC Delco Classic. Interesting championship match between Butch Soper and Gary Skidmore. Soper failed to strike in his first 9 frames in the championship match. And was behind the whole way until Gary Skidmore left a big 4 in the 9th frame. And when Skidmore couldn't shut out Soper in the 10th, Soper had to throw 2 strikes and count to win, and Soper flushed the first shot in the 10th, tripped the 4-pin on his second shot to take home his second PBA Tour title. Wayne Webb that tournament was trying to tie a PBA record with his 3rd consecutive PBA Tour win. However, Webb made the step-ladder finals but lost in the opening game with a 157 to end his chance to tie Dick Weber and Don Carter for that 3-tournament record. Of course, Johnny Petraglia, the last man to do it in 1971 as well.
We had 6 players shoot 270 plus in game 1, Phil. One of them is right here, Tom Daugherty. 2 of them are on this pair, Jakob Butturff and Jesper Svensson. Svensson 278, Butturff 279, Lavery-Spahr 279, Daugherty 278, Nick Pate 277, and Sean Rash 278. And updated leaders through 15 total games. Svensson still leads plus 807. Jakob Butturff is exactly 100 pins behind. Anthony Lavery-Spahr third. Tom Daugherty fourth. Dom Barrett, Nick Pate, Sean Rash, Jason Belmonte, Chris Prather, Darren Tang. Top 10. Current cut line in 16th. Ildemaro Ruiz plus 499.
And a couple of big games early by players still on the outside looking in because of the high score shot by players like Norm Duke and Pate Hanrahan. Hanrahan 290 his opening game to get into the top 16. Jake Rollins with 268, Patrick Girard with 266, both still on the outside looking in. Just goes to show you, if you didn't shoot at least 250 in game one, you were losing ground to the rest of the field. Scoring pace obviously slows a bit as the day goes on, but it's still going to take games to the 230s and 240s consistently to keep yourself in the top 16. The key is not just a lot of strikes, but as you see right there from Belmo, when you do make a mistake and leave those spares, they are must converts. There are no pins to be left behind today if you want to advance to tonight's match play competition. Barrett gets the 10 to go late with the messenger. Anthony Lavery-Spahr with a hot hand again this game. Started with the front 7 in game 1. Lavery-Spahr in 15 and 16 already with the front 5 in game 2. And looking down at 23 and 24, Darren Tang stepping up. He just got his 6th in a row to start. Norm Duke on the front 5 as well on that same pair. Slicer 10 stands for Butturff. Duke, you see, wearing that tape below the elbow. He's been fighting elbow tendonitis since mid-2018. Jesper questioning how that 7 and 10 fell so late. But they are down. Wow, Tang with as badly off balance as he was on that shot, still got it to come back with the miss right. Ildemaro Ruiz having a solid week. Ruiz currently the number at plus 499. 3 pins ahead of Jake Rollins. 17 pins ahead of Patrick Girard. Front 7 for Lavery-Spahr. We'll see Norm Duke and his partner Wes Malott tomorrow in the evening as they were the 10th seeded team to advance the Roth Home and Doubles match play. His partner right now, Wes Malott. down in the low end of the building out of flow zone range.
Malott also out of the top 16 right now after game 1.
It's a little chilly in the building today here. Fire Lake Bowling Center. That was a Burr ring 10 for Ildemaro Ruiz.
Lavery-Spahr string ends. Tang. Well, gee willikers. So Duke still perfect through 7.
Lavery-Spahr, his string ends with the 4-pin. You know, Jeff, if a circus clown throws a ball into the 1-3 pocket and leaves that backmost right pin on the lane, you know what that's called. It's a Ring Brothers 10.
Yeah, I've often wondered what things are called when circus clowns are bowling. Thankfully, I at least have that taken care of.
One man that's not clowning around right now. Arm Duke. And the 7 stands in defiance as ball finished slightly high in the 1-3 pocket.
It's Cashers round, live from Fire Lake. Jeff Goodger and Phil Brilo. And 24 bowlers, including Darren Tang off the 7-10 in the 8th.
And one would think that with having removed 3/4 of the players from the field with inferior scores this week, the scoring pace would go up this round, and it's definitely showing at this point in time. For 7 games, if you don't throw a plus 300 block, it may be a rough day for you. Oh, almost the ring around the rosy 10 there for Lavery-Spahr, but he gets it out. No pocket full of posies for that man.
They all fell down. Thanks, Phil. Apparently you were waiting for me to say that. Okay.
A little high for Lavery-Spahr, and no back-to-back 279s for that man, but still 268 with conversion, and he will stay well entrenched in that top 5. Lavery-Spahr this week, only a single game under 200. That was the opening game of qualifying round 2 yesterday. This will be Lavery-Spahr's 5th game of 260 or better on his score recap through 16 games of qualifying. I would have bet you money in his PBA Tour career that Jesper Svensson would have never left the 5-7-10. The crowd here let out an audible gasp at that. Jesper doesn't seem too worried about it at this particular moment, though.
Nope, he pretended it never happened. The rake cleared it out before anybody on the high end could see. Jakob saw, though. Jacob's telling everyone.
Martin Larson instantly went over there and started giving him the riot act. Well, that's why we have you here in Flow Zone. Get you all the good things when it happens. And that one, ladies and gentlemen, you saw yourself. 5-7-10 for Jesper Svensson.
And here's game 3.
Don't think it's going to matter too much to Svensson, though. He is well in the lead.
Yeah.
And will only lose a few pins to Butturff this game. Butturff 237, Belmonte stepping up. Belmo is only going to shoot 197, and he's falling down the leaderboard rapidly. And to take that down,
187 with the spare.
Svensson 223 that game, so he only loses 14 pins on his advantage over Butturff.
Hanrahan, Girard, and Tang in game 3.
And your scores are in. PBA.com, Oklahoma Open, 16-game totals. 7 games from Tuesday, 7 games from Wednesday. The first 2 games today. Svensson plus 830, still your leader. Butturff still in the number 2 spot, plus 744. Man closing in fast. Anthony Lavery-Spahr, 546 for Lavery-Spahr's first 2 today. Gets him to third at plus 724. Tom Daugherty, plus 685. Nick Pate, plus 678. Svensson low out of that bunch for their first 2 game score totals today with a 501 total. Butturff 516, Lavery-Spahr 546, Daugherty 522, Nick Pate 525. Don Barrett averages 241.5 and loses ground to the top 5 today. Barrett 6th at plus 658. Sean Rash 7th, plus 630. Chris Prather up to 8th, plus 625. Belmo only 16 over for his first 2 today. Belmo at plus 597. Darren Tang plus 594. Your cut right now. Pate Hanrahan sitting at that number with Jake Rollins, both players at 522 the positive. EJ Tackett, you just saw walk off the lane there. Tackett just 10 out of the number. Brad Miller 16 out. DJ Archer 20 out. Kyle Sherman up here 26 behind the number at this time. And no one out of it yet. Chris Sloan, he might be in 24th position, but Sloan is only 40 pins behind Patrick Hanrahan. So by the time we get down to game 7 this round, it'll be a large battle for those top 16 positions. Well, a man that fell quite a bit down the standings, Belmo from 3rd to 9th in 2 games. Trying to right that ship in a hurry. As Belmo, spare 6-bagger. 17-18, we'll get back to Jason when he's up again. EJ Tackett on this pair, chasing 300 with the front 7. I'm Phil Brylow. With me, Jeff Goodger.
Hello. Tackett in 18th, 10 pins behind a tie for 16th. But Tackett likely into the top 16 after this game with the front 7 here, looking for 8.
Wow, smash 7. Well, Packy Hanrahan stepping up. Already you got the first one, the 10th. Hanrahan can shoot 259. He could have a good game, fall out of the top 16 if Tackett spares here and strikes out.
Strike for Hanrahan, spare for Tackett.
And other player, oh, sorry, Jeff.
Back to Belmonte.
That other player tied with Hanrahan for the 16th spot, Jake Rollins. Rollins, possible 246, so he will definitely stay on the outside of the top 16 with this game with the pacings of Tackett and Hanrahan.
Here's Rollins. Strike there in the 8th on a string, back to Belmonte. 290 no longer a possibility.
You know, if that would have been a point in time where Belmo would have needed 9 to win an event, that would have been a ka-ching 10. Instead, it just slows down his pacing trying to get back into the top 5. That's it. I'm all done with Badovskis. I am out of Badovskis right now.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I may have another pop to me in the round later on. I do like the ka-ching 10 best of all. Well, how about that for Butturff? Ho hum. Just take out a 3.56 on a light hit to make that ball work. Back-to-back 10s now for Belmo. That's going to require a bit of a angle change getting to the pocket. Might just have jumped a little too far left too soon. Wow, and Patrick Girard saw it out of the corner of the screen there. 3, 4, 6, 7 gets too much of the 4, sends it straight back, missing the 7. And Svensson struggling this game. He's going to be finishing sub 200 without a miracle conversion. And with Butturff's only errant shot being a missed single pin in the third frame, Jakob Butturff is going to be right on Svensson's tail for the lead with 4 games remaining in this block. We'll be bringing you that Game 4 qualifying here at Fire Lake Bowling Center. PBA Oklahoma Open qualifying for Cashers Round rolls on exclusively on FloBowling.
through 17 total games, 3 today plus the 14 qualifying games the previous 2 days. Jesper Svensson still leads, but it's only a 14-pin lead now. He was leading by triple digits at the beginning of the day. Svensson struggling early. He's at plus 822 with a 693 block, which sounds strange to say that's a struggle, but compared to his opponents, it is. Jake Butturff in second, plus 808. He shot 780 for his first 3. Anthony Lavery-Spahr third at plus 740. Tom Daugherty fourth at plus 726. Chris Prather is plus 704 in fifth. Sean Rash, Nick Pate, Tom Barrett, Jason Belmonte, Darren Tang. The rest of the top 10. EJ Tackett has moved in to the top 16. Tackett in 12th now after his 279 in the previous game, and opens in the first here this game. 16th is a tie, Patrick Girard and Norm Duke, plus 567. 3.5 games to play to make the top 16. Match play begins tonight. First of 2 rounds. Jason Belmonte, the low series of anybody in the top 10. 674 to start today. Kyle Sherman in 19th at plus 541. Archer 15th, plus 570. Pate on the front 5 again.
Players chasing 300. Nick Pate, only 279 to start his day today. Not like the 300 he had during the first 2 days. Pate keeping the score sheet unblemished. At this point, that 9 count is an error. We'll get that fixed. As Pate now in the front 8. Belmo looking for front 9. And Belmo gets the 4 to go late on the swisher. As Belmo, even with the big game last game, still remains in 9th place on the leaderboard. He knows now, gave away too many pins early. Needs to make it up to get back into the top 5 where he started the day.
First 9 for Nick Pate. Belmonte already has 9. First a fill ball for Butturff, another 260 game.
And once again, the spare game. Butturff a little lackadaisical. Missed a single pin last game. Now slides behind a 247. For a man who said he was going to work on that spare game after last week, and Belmo, you just see there, you saw the elbow get out a little early. He gave that one a little extra. Once again, a chance to make up a bunch of pins. On the field, going to be reduced by at least 23. Make it 24 as he's got the 9 pin. As a sleeper behind Belmo's 369.
Butturff off to school, I guess. Bowled his 4 games, put the backpack on, and go to math class. Nick Pate on the front 9. Once again. But Belmonte will bowl first. Fill ball for 276. 276. Nick Pate, who has reserved his best games for the first game so far, right now on the front 10 here at the PBA Oklahoma Open Cashers Round 3 qualifying. Sean Rash getting an excellent view of Nick Pate's shot, and that's all 10. That's the front 11.
Just got the 6 pin to make contact on the 10 to take it down. And now we got thinking PBA records, because now this could be Nick Pate's 3rd 300 game of this event. PBA record is 4 in a tournament. That held by Walter Ray Williams Jr., Dave D'Entremont, and John Barley Jr. for that tie. So now we got to possibly put Nick Pate into that possible equation if he gets this strike. There it is.
Perfect game for Nick Pate, his 3rd of the tournament. And we're moving into game 5.
It's pretty interesting checking out the section on Tournament 300s for PBA Tour scoring records. And you too can check out the page with all the PBA scoring records at PBA.com. Just click on the Stats tab, and then once you get to the Stats page, you can click on the link that'll take you to the PBA Tour scoring records. Nick Pate, 3 300s so far this event. Record in the tournament is 4 by Walter Ray Williams Jr., Dave Dianchemont, and John Bowerly Jr. There's been several players who've had 2 300s in a 7-game block back when the exempt tour days, when the PBA Tour had either a 7-game or 14-game qualifier before they started bracket match play. And you look at the names on that 2 700s in a 7-game block. There are some big names there. Michael Haugen Jr., Jason Couch, Mika Koivunemi, Ryan Schaefer, Tim Chris, Brian Kretzer, Parker Bone III. And Pate not going to have 300 this game. He moved down to lanes 3 and 4. First frame spare for Pate. And we're going to get off this pair as we have a breakdown. So we're going to get over to West Malott. One player in PBA history had 3 300s in an 8-game block. That was Dave D'Entremont in the same event where he set the tournament record with 4 300s in an event. He had 3 300s in a single 8-game block. And of course, only one player in PBA history has had 3 consecutive 300s on the PBA Tour. That was Norm Duke, but he did it over 2 rounds of an event back in 1996. Ended a block with 2 300 games and then started the next block with a 300 as well. Of course, on the PBA 50 Tour, there has been a 900 series. 3 300s in a row. That was Joe Scarborough, and of course, the unique fact about Scarborough's 900, he started the event in the Villages with that 900 and then failed to make the cut after 16 games of qualifying was completed. So just because you get off to a hot start doesn't mean it's going to stay all the way through to the finish. Game scoring update in at PBA.com. Well, Jakob Butturff, high block of the day to this point. Thrusts Butturff into the lead. Butturff just 245 over through his first 4 games. Gets Butturff to plus 873 for the event. Svensson second, plus 836. Pate third. Perfect game gets him up to plus 786. Lavery-Spahr of the Anthony variety in fourth, plus 766. Chris Prather fifth, plus 743. And with 3 games remaining here, the all-important 16th position, it is a tight battle for that position as 12th place Patrick Hanrahan is only 38 pins up on 16th place Kyle Sherman. And Sherman has the rest of the field behind him still within 59 pins. So no position is safe right now other than one may think. Jakob Butturff and Jesper Svensson making it to tonight's match play competition. course, get your full standings, PBA.com. Transition starting to increase here on this Mark Roth pattern as the players are moving pair to pair. As all efforts of chasing 300 done early here in Game 5. A couple solid games though. With Jake Rollins, spare and six bagger, and I'm going to correct myself now. I just saw Ildemaro Ruiz. He's going to be stepping up on 9 and 10 on the front 5, make it front 6 for Ruiz. So still one bowler pursuing perfection, keeping the score sheet full of the 24th letter of the alphabet. Norm Duke, he's just 3 pins ahead of that cut number currently at plus 602. Darren Tang, a solid day, 157 at the plus. Put Tang in the 10th, but he's 50 pins behind Dom Barrett in 9th currently. There's Rollins, keeping his chance at 290 alive. See Ruiz with that timing step kind of backwards into the side to get the approach started, and he's still approaching 300 with strikes in his first 7 frames. Week 10 for Norman. Arm seems to be holding in here this week. He was in a significant amount of pain towards the end of the Hall of Fame Classic qualifying. And doesn't seem to have too much in the way of grimacing or short arming at the point of release this week. Norm with the full follow through on every shot. Kristopher Sloan, he's the man that's in the number 24 spot right now. He had to double last night just to get into the top 24. But Sloan far from out of it. He's only 59 pins behind the number with 3 to go. And Sloan with a possible 247 this game. Keep pace. As of right now, there are only 2 players this morning who are not averaging at least 225 through the first 4 games of this block, and both those players on the outside of the top 16, one of those being Tommy Jones. Tommy just plus 74 through 4. Brad Miller just plus 69 through 4. However, both still in contention if they can turn it around. Carry a couple more strikes a game. Make those single pin spares, not let them get away from you. And yeah, catch a break here or there always helps as well. Campbell's can make an addition of Bowler's alphabet soup. And all it would just be a bunch of X's instead of all kinds of alphabet letters, just the X's. Along with your proper servings of vegetables and broth.
You can include O's to represent zeros.
Oh, I don't know if bowlers want to see that, though. That's a bad thing on their score sheet if we're seeing O's or even just straight pieces of noodle, because they could think that is a dash for an open frame or a slash for a spare. They just want to see those X's on the board, just like we're seeing here with Ildemaro Ruiz Jr. And the 7 doesn't go on the light hit, and another 300 chase ends. The single pin leave. Just 2 games remaining here. PBA Oklahoma Cashers Round qualifying. Get us to the top 16 for match play later on today. Just 2 games remaining here in Shawnee for Cashers Round qualifying. Oklahoma Open. Top 16 advance to our first of 2 match play rounds. That first round this evening. At 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. here in Lubbock. Lubbock? I'm getting ahead of myself. That's next week. It's 2 weeks, actually. Next week we're off. Then we're at the Lubbock Sports Open. So tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern here in Shawnee for your first match play round. Second match play round tomorrow, noon Eastern. A little different start time than we've had all week long. Put it in your calendars. Set your alarms on your phone properly. Noon tomorrow is your start time for match play round 2. As once that's done, we'll get to our final 5 who advance to the stepladder finals live this Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1. Of course, that does not conclude the action here in Shawnee, as we still have to determine our top 5 for the Mark Roth Marshall Holman PBA Doubles Championship. All those players for that event technically off today, even if they're on the lanes. Their scores today do not count towards Roth Holman doubles, as that match play round 1 begins tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Your start time for Baker doubles match play round 1 for Roth Holman doubles. Available 6 games of Baker doubles on tomorrow night, and 6 more games on Saturday. 5 scheduled 1 position round. That is going to begin at 11 a.m. Eastern on Saturday. And once that position round is completed Saturday, we will get our top 5 teams that advance to the stepladder final taping here in Shawnee on Sunday. And that will film Sunday and air the following Sunday, January 20th on Fox Sports 1. Let's get you your 19-game scoring totals. Butturff still your leader. He's taking his lead out to almost 100 pins, actually more than 100, 105 over Svensson. Plus 932 for Butturff, 827 to the positive for Svensson. Chris Prather, big jump for Prather this round. Prather, 285 over for his first 5. Gets Prather into 3rd on the board, plus 790. Anthony Lavery-Spahr 4th, plus 786. Nick Pate 5th, plus 778. Along with Pate at that number is Jason Belmonte. Daugherty, Barrett, Rash, Hanrahan round out your top 10. Heck of a block today for Hanrahan as well. Plus 250 for Hanrahan's first 5 games. The man that's your number right now, Ildemaro Ruiz, is the number, plus 646. EJ Tackett, he's been sitting in that 17th position for a few games now. After shooting 279 in game 3, Tackett 205, 237 has not moved Tackett out of that 17th spot yet. But just 31 pins separate Tackett on the outside of the top 16, with 12th place Zach Wilkins with 2 games remaining, so still plenty of movement possible on the bottom part of this standings board. And the transition of this Mark Roth pair seems to be a bit trickier for these players pair to pair, as we're not seeing any bowlers past the front 3 this game. All across 16 lanes in play here at Fire Lake Bowling Center. And with as tightly bunched as the field is now, only player that's really out of it currently, Michael Tang. Michael Tang currently 90 back almost of Ildemaro Ruiz. I mean, it would take a couple of miracle games for Michael Tang to get back in. Tang currently pacing in the 180s, so I'm going to rate Michael Tang as our first casualty of the cashers round. West Malott, Chris Sloan, Tommy Jones next to join him on that list. And if Brad Miller can get a huge game here on that pair with Tommy Jones, Brad Miller might have a chance to make a late run to try to get back in the top 16. But Miller right now, 78 pins behind Ruiz. Miller, however, working on a possible 276 game, I believe. 277, that might be. Have to take a look at the scoreboard when it pops back up. I believe it's 276. But yeah, Miller's going to need all that and then some to try to get into the top 16.
I saw his spot. The same shit happened on like I can see it where it reads that spot where it doesn't want to keep gliding.
EJ Tackett's going to need to get things straightened out in a hurry. He's the first man out right now in 17th, and you can just tell right now the frustration he has. 2 opens, 1 double, pacing 180 right now with a conversion on the tough 248 looming. Brad Miller stepping up on 9 and 10. Miller needs a huge game to get back into the top 16. He struggled most of the day, just 70 over to this point. Still a possible game 270 for Miller. If he can punch the last 4 now, he has that 5-bagger into the 8th frame. Sloan, a bunch back, almost 100. Sloan was trying to make a big run, trying to finish at 240, but now he leaves a 10-pin first ball to 10th frame, and that's going to make it almost impossible for Sloan to make it in the top 16, even with perfection in Game 7. Miller keeping the dream alive. If he gets 70 to the plus here, depending on what Ruiz throws, and Ruiz right now has a max of 225. Sherman makes 40 pins or so of it up here. He's only going to have another less than 40 pin deficit to make up on Ruiz in Game 7, so still possible here even if both players go off the sheet. The man that's in danger of making a fall out right now though, Norm Duke. He's working on a spare. He can still get to 249, but you see the other guys in your pair striking. They're hanging with you for the top 16. You know you got to keep putting X's on the board, and the 6 a little weak on the 10. So Duke's going to have to fight to stay in the top 16. And Duke only has a 2-pin cushion on Darren Tang, as these players on this pair are currently your 14, 15, and 16 for Duke, Tang, Ruiz, respectively. And we'll get a good look at this pairing as well in Game 7. We'll let these players finish up this game. Brad Miller's going to be stepping up shortly, looking for 270, and it's a big race for the 16th spot. Cashier's round, Oklahoma Open, FloBowling. This is it, the all or nothing. The perform or go home. The do or die. Last game of qualifying here, game 7 of Cashier's round. Scores are being tabulated quickly by the PBA tournament office, which is adjacent to the Chuck Pisano media office. And they're going to get those scores out to us here in the FloBowling booth, along with online at PBA.com shortly, so we can get you the top bowlers and where they're placed after 20 games of qualifying. That man there, Tom Daugherty, was in 7th, well secure in the top 16, just outside the top 5 in 7th position. Anthony Lavery-Spahr, solid block for Lavery-Spahr today, was in 4th and looking to stay in the top 5. Don't forget, match play starts tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. here. On the Citizen Potawatomi Reservation, on which Fire Lake Bowling Center sits. Standard 30 bonus pins per match play win in effect for match play both in the Oklahoma Open and for the Baker Doubles and the Rotholman Doubles competition Friday night and Saturday morning. And right now, this is the foursome that's fighting to stay within the top 16 with Tang, Duke, Ruiz. Big break there for Darren Tang early. Crossover strike. Once again, different kind of record watch we're on here. Inside of Fire Lake Bowling Center is Nick Pate. If you missed it earlier, fired his 3rd 300 of this event. If he can fire a 4th perfect game, either here in game 7 of qualifying or during any of the 16 match play games coming up tonight and tomorrow, he will tie the all-time PBA 300s per scoring event record out here on the PBA Tour. 20 game scoring updates in. Butturff, Svensson, Prather, Lavery-Spahr, Belmonte remain in your top 5. Big number right now, Ildemaro, Ruiz, just 3 pins ahead of Darren Tang at the cut number. And it is tightly bunched at that number. I'm going to assume Sean Rash being 70 up on the number, he's going to be safe. But Ildemaro Ruiz plus 639, he's only 4 pins behind Kyle Sherman in 15th. Jake Rollins, Norm Duke, Patrick Girard, all 36 pins within Ruiz's number, so that's an easy fallback if any of those players have a bad game. Players looking to play catch-up right now. Darren Tang, 3 behind Ruiz. DJ Archer, 21 behind. Brad Miller, 22 behind. EJ Tackett, 27 behind Ruiz in 16th.
And you drop farther west, Malott is 52 behind 16th. And Sloane, an additional 15 behind Malott.
And looking at their scores right now, Malott 73 in the 5th, Sloan in the 90s. I'm officially scratching them from any chance. I'm writing that down in ink, Jeff. It's not pencil this time.
I'll
That's
vouch,
ink.
you are using ink. Brad Miller sparing the first, looking for a turkey. Got it.
Miller, that late charge, game 6, put 249 on the board, and he cut a bunch of deficit away from Ruiz and Tang. Sherman, a player that's going to need a quality game this game to stay within the top 16.
40 in the second on a double. Sherman up in the 5th.
Oh my! Not the point in time for 4-9 to rear its ugly head. Norm Duke looking to stay up on everything too. He only has a 29-pin cushion on Ruiz. Just 27 pins for Jake Rollins on a cushion as well. Rollins on 23 and 24 this game with Sloan and Malott. Patrick Girard's a guy to keep an eye on too. Girard almost backed his way out of the top 24 last night. Girard down on 3 and 4. We'll have to get a scorekeeper to check on the progress of that.
Pate for the front 5 again. And Tackett.
Wow. That is most likely it's going to be the end of Tackett's run towards the top 16. That's definitely going to be the end of Tackett's week then in Shawnee, because he and Marshall Holman, runners-up last year in the Roth-Holman doubles, fell short of making qualifying there. Kyle Sherman now making life interesting for himself. He's looking at back-to-back opens. 4-9 makes an adjustment, 2-8-10. Smart Roth pattern suddenly turning into a beast for some of these players instead of a bonanza. Ruiz, front 5 as he strolls it off to the right.
Jake Rollins, 222 max.
Patrick Girard, man, it's currently in 12th. He's got a 36-pin cushion on Ruiz, and Girard can max out at 222. He's just got done with the 6th frame, so not a good start for Girard in this last game. Girard, he's not one of those pairs that bowlers like to avoid here. Instead of Fire Lake Bowling Center lanes 3 and 4. And Duke can't get the 8 to fall into the 10. Outside chance for Tackett, but it's going to take the back rest. as my friend Jeff Goodger likes to say. To have any chance of top 16 thoughts. Tang can't get the 10 to go. Rollins is looking at maxing in the 2 teens. That should keep Rollins safe if he gets to a positive number. The way the rest of the field, I hate to say, is falling apart, but it is falling apart. Duke with the open frame. That cushion he has over Ruiz is fully gone away. Archer man trying to get in. That 10 pin's not going to help his cause. Tackett still trying to keep the dream alive with that double. Ruiz dreaming of a dozen. He's halfway there. Barrett. Sitting in 7th right now, so we'll see him this evening. Sherman through the nose, 2-8-10, makes an adjustment on 22, through the nose, 3-6-9-10. And wow, how the tide has turned for Kyle Sherman the last couple of games. Started off hot, but 223, 221 has kept him precariously close to that cut number. And now this could be the game that causes him to fall back out and end his competition in the Oklahoma Open.
Jake Rollins now with 200 max if he spares and fills.
So Rollins, plus 66 should be okay the way the rest of the field's bowling right now. Sherman covers them all. Darren Tang just left a pocket 710 for an open frame in the 7th. Tang's got a max of 199 now. And the man that's in 17th is looking like he may stay on the outside looking in. That could give EJ, Brad Miller, and DJ here all chances to pass. DJ likes that shot. And that's it, only half a rack. After half a perfect game means chasing 300 done this game.
211 max score, just got the hit in the 9th, went 10 pin in the 8th. So he needs first 10.
Give me the family stuff. So Girard looking like he's safe. You can strike out in the 10th for 211. Even a mark puts him in the 190s, so a plus 660 total should be okay. Duke needs to punch a bunch, wrap 10. Duke's cushion starting to slip away as well. This is the man right here, though, Kyle Sherman. He was the closest to Ruiz and Tang. Sherman's max 205. Doesn't like it, and you see why. 210. Not too much damage to Ruiz's score sheet right now with that front 6 when you're looking at the top 16 overall. Brad Miller, EJ Tackett still outside chances to get in. Miller keeping the score sheet clean with a 3-bagger through 8 frames. Must make here for Sherman. Absolutely must make. And that's just to get him into the 190s. good news for Sherman is right now he's pacing ahead of Tang. And wow, not even close to the 210 conversion. Did we get a final on
7-10 for Ruiz after the front 6.
final on Rollins at 23 and 24? Should be
200.
All right, so he stays at plus 666. Tackett looks stunned at carrying that strike, but he needed it. Still the 234 possible for him, and that could get him a couple of spots on the inside of the top 16 at the pace he's going. A little too much on the back end for Miller. He left the 4-pin. Darren Tang looking like he's going to stay outside. Tang's max right now 189, and that's definitely going to keep him on the outside, especially with DJ Archer and EJ Tackett both going to pass him on the scoreboard. Sherman going bye-bye. DJ 214 might be enough to get him in with Tang falling back and Sherman falling back, and a pocket 710. And Archer is going to stay on the outside. If Tang strikes out for 189, that's going to leave him at plus 625. It's going to let Brad Miller and EJ Tackett pass him with solid scores, and that's right through the face. And these players all of a sudden look stunned this 7th game. They look like the transition they saw all week by this point in time of the event. Totally different today.
191.
Patrick Girard 191. That keeps Girard at 666 to the plus, but with Rollins and Girard well in, no tiebreaker necessary at this point in time in the tournament. And Sherman goes in the gutter. 161 leaves Sherman at plus 604, and that is going to be out. Unbelievable finish for Sherman. And then you got to shake that off before you start Rotholm and doubles tomorrow with your partner, Brad Miller. Brad Miller could pass his teammate and get in the top 16. If Norm Duke can strike here in the 9th frame, it's going to lock him into the top 16. Regardless of what anybody else left on the lanes performs at. There it is for Norm. Norm's going to stay in. Because even with an open, he stays ahead of Rollins and Girard in total.
Big messenger for Tackett. 234 his max.
And that's going to get him past Tang and Sherman for sure. Just a matter, I don't think DJ's got enough to get by Brad Miller. He's not going to have enough to get by. Brad Miller only had a 5-pin advantage over Tackett, and Miller's maximum is 226. So Tang is out. He's not going to have enough. DJ Archer, 190. Archer's not going to have enough.
232 for Tackett.
So that gets Tackett to plus 644. It's up to Brad Miller and Ruiz how they finish. Ruiz is pacing 220. Ruiz has got 22 pins on Miller. So maybe Too little, too late, especially for Ruiz marks here in the 10th. And wow, 197, 7 spares, 217. Ruiz needs 1 pin if Miller strikes to stay ahead. And Miller has to strike out for 226. So Tackett in, Sherman out so far. Does Ruiz stay in? Miller likes it, but it may not matter because Ruiz just needs a single stick to get this. That's more than one. That's a spare. So Ruiz is going to be in the 650s. And unofficially, E.J. Tackett with that clutch finish is your number 16 bowler at plus 644. Sherman, that terrible game, drops out. Tang struggles. He can't get in. E.J. passes 4 players on the leaderboard to get in to 16th spot. That's why that man is always a force to be reckoned with out here in the Go Bowling PBA Tour. Ruiz doesn't even need to keep this one in the lane. He's in. So there is E.J. Tackett, unofficial 644. Tackett and the remaining 15 players in this field return 6 p.m. Eastern Time tonight for the first of 2 8-game match play rounds. As we march on the way to determine our top 5 for the PBA Oklahoma live step-ladder finals on Fox Sports 1 on Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern. For Jeff Goodger, I am Phil Brylow. Remember, $2 Phil says, take the kids bowling. They'll have fun for life, and we'll see you back here at Fire Lake Bowling Center, 6 p.m. Eastern.